One of the things that nobody warned us about in midlife is that sometimes the hardest thing to find isn't purpose. It's people, real friends, the kind of women who know your story, the ones who laugh with you, pray for you, show up for you, and remind you who you are when you've forgotten. Because somewhere along the way, life changed. The kids grew up, careers shifted, seasons changed, and many of us quietly discovered that while our calendars may be full, our hearts can still feel lonely. But what if that longing isn't something to ignore? What if it's a holy invitation? Because maybe taking back happy isn't just about rediscovering yourself. Maybe it's also about rediscovering community and finding your people. Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville. God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, GG, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who is taking back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like me in these midlife years, a sort of loss of direction, but you feel way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could reclaim your life, finding deep joy, renewed passion and purpose, and plenty of adventure in these midlife years? If you are ready to find your spark again, throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. Okay, my Taking Back Happy friends, this is a perfect episode to remind us why we need to connect with other women who are taking back their own happy. So join me in the Taking Back Happy Facebook group. That's a great place to start. You can also become a TBH Insider. When you become a TBH Insider, you get a weekly email with the latest podcast, tips on creating a happy mindset, early bird access to special offers, and encouraging Bible devos. If you want to connect with me on even a deeper level, then hit me up and let's talk about one-on-one life coaching. I offer a free session, one-on-one life coaching for all the Taking Back Happy listeners. Okay, friends, if we're going to find our people, we need to acknowledge that midlife changed the friendship landscape. Many of us had built-in friendships. We had other school moms, we had coworkers, we had like church activities that were centered around our kids, sports activities, basketball moms and dance moms and that sort of thing. We had neighborhood gatherings. But now that our kids are grown, some women are retired or they're changing careers, divorce, moving, caregiving, all those different things have shifted our relationships. Life looks different than it did 20 years ago. When my kids were younger, I had tons of homeschool mom friends. So we had a lot in common. We were all educators. A lot of us did classical education. We had different events that our kids would be in and we would be supporting them. And now when I look back on that, I'm still friendly with some of these people, but I'm not really friends with most of them. I have a handful of homeschool mom friends that I still really hang out with and really have community with and relationships. But that's because we have purposely focused on that. We have purposely done things outside of our kids. And I'll tell you what, I have one group of friends that we started meeting together when we still had teenagers. And we did this separate from our kids. It was the first thing we did separate. And it was kind of funny because when we first sat down, we didn't know what else to talk about except our kids. And we had to purposefully try to focus on things that weren't our kids. And now over time, that relationship has just matured and it's just some friends getting together and encouraging each other. And it's really, really been awesome. But I want us to think about this. The key thought isn't that you're bad at friendship. It's just that the season changed. So it's not like a failure. It's a transition. The next thing I want us to consider is we were never meant to do life alone. And if you've heard this podcast before, then you've heard me say this because I feel like God has created us for connection. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, 2 people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other person can reach out and help, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Friendships provide encouragement, laughter, perspective, accountability, shared experiences, one of my favorite things, and someone who celebrates your victories and even sits with you in your losses and your failures and your pain and your hurt. I've been so blessed with sweet friends and just really great community. And I think sometimes I take it for granted because I'll have different friends say to me, like friends that live in other towns and friends that aren't local, they'll say, "Man, you have such a great network of friends. You have such strength and encouragement and all those things right there." And a lot of times I was like, "Oh yeah, I just want to find my person and I want to, get remarried and I want to do this and that," and not valuing how precious these friendships are. And you need both, right? You might want your partner, but you also need those sweet friendships because there's something different about women connecting with women and coming together in community that's just totally a God thing. I want us to remember that community isn't a luxury. It's part of how God designed us. So we know friendships aren't the same in midlife. We don't have those built-in friends like we did when we were in the office with people or when we were with our kids and homeschooling them or had sports and different things going on that our kids were involved in. And we know that we're really built for community. We know that God built us to connect. But also, I want us to think about this. Friendship in midlife requires intention. When we were younger, friendships just happened naturally or they were built in or whatever. And now they can still happen, but they're often going to happen intentionally. Like what I was saying about my group of girlfriends, we, first focused all on our kids and we had to intentionally focus on each other's lives outside of being a mom. That can feel really awkward because everyone seems real busy. You have like that fear of rejection, of course, will they like me? Do they think I'm being too pushy? Am I trying to, force myself on them? And we also, we worry that we're imposing. We assume everybody else has their own people, their own friends. They don't need one more friend. But chances are many women around you are quietly wishing for the exact same thing. They're wishing someone would invite them too. So sometimes friendship starts with us just saying yes, or joining a Bible study, or going on a girls' trip, or taking a pickleball class. I have a bunch of friends that do pickleball, and it's such a great way to meet people. Serving at church, starting a walking group, just actually picking up the phone and sending a text to someone. Last year, my physical trainer at the gym I go to invited me to go camping and hiking with some other girls. And I knew one girl that was going to be in this group. I knew of her. I had known her years before, but I didn't know any of the others. So there was going to be two groups of us going. The first group had 4 ladies in it, and they were going to start early. I had to work that day. I was working full time, and it was hard for me to get off. And so we were leaving early, but we weren't going to leave quite as early. So my friend and I, we started hiking, and it was really great. It was a super long hike. We were doing it was 2 days, and it was going to be like over 19 miles over these 2 days. So we were going to hike in, we were going to, camp overnight, and then we're going to hike out the next day. Well, it was such a blessing. It was like one of those things where you are being intentional. You're saying yes to the invite. You're saying yes to meeting new people. You're saying yes to trying something new. It's just being lots and lots of intention on top of intention. So we hiked in. I hiked in with my friend, and that just felt totally comfortable. It wasn't awkward or anything. But when we got to the campsite, like I said, most of these people I didn't know, and they kind of all knew each other, and they knew the trainer, and they were all just chatting it up. And I was like, this feels a little awkward. But within minutes, I was engaging. They were, asking me questions. We were connecting. It was really, really sweet. And as the night went on, we did the campfire thing, and we all kind of talked and played games. But then next morning we got up and we hiked out, and it was another, almost 10 miles to hike out. And it was miserable. It was so hot. It was in May and it was burning hot. And there weren't very many trees on that side of the hike because we had a hurricane that went through, previous years, and there just weren't that many trees. So it was really special though, because I just kind of hiked at different speeds. So I got to talk to each person individually and got to really know them. And then, of course, we talked as a group and everything. And now they're just like some of my favorite friends. And we'll do some different hiking and different things together. And we plan different trips. And so it's just so much fun. But it really took that intention and kind of getting out of my comfort zone a little bit to be intentional to create those friendships. So let's think about this. Waiting for friendship is different from creating friendship. And that brings me to our last point. You don't need more people. You need your people. So not everyone is meant to be your best friend. And this isn't about popularity. It's really about finding women who bring life and joy, who love God. They encourage you in your faith, who can laugh and cry with you, who will celebrate your growth instead of competing with it, who make you feel safe to be yourself. Jesus had crowds around him, but he also had really close relationships. I have amazing friends and amazing community because I literally built community. I was really intentional about it. I had like a wellness business and I had classes in my home. And that's where I really connected with a lot of the ladies that I hang out with all the time. But I have different friends that I have different kind of like interests with. So I probably have 3 or 4 friends that I feel really close to. And if I have like something real serious going on, a real serious prayer request, I will contact these girls and I'll be like, hey, I need you to pray for me. I got this thing going on. It's kind of private, maybe not share it with everybody, but please pray with me. And those, yeah, I know that they will. I know they're not going to go blabbing it all over in town. They're going to be, by my side, and they'll be praying as much as I'm actually praying about something. And then also just having like that, those friends I went hiking with. I love to get outside and outdoors and go hiking and doing all those things. But a lot of my friends that I'm really close to, that's not their thing. They don't want to do that. They're definitely not going to do a 19-mile hike. That does not sound like fun to them, right? So it's so cool to have different friend groups for different things. And I love having, that outdoorsy hiking kind of group too. And then you have just those really close, like special friends, those besties, that you can share your secrets with and all that kind of thing. So it's like friendships come in all different shapes and forms. And, just like we can have a broad group of friends, it's not about how many friends you can have. It's about finding the ones that you really resonate with. I have a lot of friends that I know from online because I'm in the Life Mentoring School, which is a coaching program. And so I know so many people through there. And even though we don't get to see each other very often, we see each other online. It's not the same thing as seeing each other in person, but there's still people that I can grow from and I can learn from and I can connect with and I can ask for prayer or I can encourage them and that sort of thing. So it's not about, the location. It's not about the amount of friends. It's not even about the things you do. It's about finding those people that just resonate with your soul. If you're thinking about it, I want you to think about this thought. Finding your people may be one of God's ways of helping you rediscover your spark again. So when we're taking back our happy, it's not all just about us and, finding that spark and getting that purpose and getting that direction. It's really about finding your people as well. So my taking back happy friends, the bottom line is we need people. Joy multiplies when it's shared. Grief becomes lighter when someone sits beside us. And courage grows when we're surrounded by women who remind us who we are. God never designed us to carry life alone. And if you've been feeling lonely or disconnected or wondering why friendship seems harder than it used to, I hope that you'll hear this. It isn't because something is wrong with you. The season has changed, but your need for connection hasn't. and neither has God's ability to bring beautiful new relationships into your life. Friendship doesn't have an expiration date. You're not too old to find your people. You're not too established to start over. You're not too late. In fact, there may be women all around you, women who are praying for exactly what you're praying for, women who are hoping someone will reach out, someone will send that text, someone will say yes, or someone will just simply show up. So don't stop reaching. Don't stop saying yes, because some of the sweetest, deepest, most life-giving friendships aren't behind you. They may be waiting right in front of you. And sometimes taking back happy isn't just about finding yourself again. Sometimes it's about finding your people. And when you do, you'll discover that life is simply better when we walk together. So my taken back happy friend, maybe this is just your reminder that the friend you're praying for is also praying for you. So keep showing up, keep reaching out, and keep believing, because some of God's sweetest gifts in midlife come wrapped in the form of friendship. If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taken Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.